Good day, my fellow old school MK Wargamers. Again, I have to make sure to make that note because this content is about the old school Mage Knight game by WizKids, the collectible miniatures game, and not the Mage Knight board game nowadays. Again, this is Haldi Orion for Nisi Wargaming or King's Army Wargaming. I haven't really decided on what to name this channel, but anyway, today I'll be featuring some of the sculpts that I've rebased on Mage Knight dials as promised. And shout out to the Mage Knight Facebook group. Thank you for just considering even watching this channel. But anyway, I'll go right into it and just feature some of these figures that I've mounted back on Mage Knight bases. So you can see I have a couple of multi-dial figures here, and I have these mounted units as well. Probably seen these previously on the first episode, but I'm a Knights Immortal fan. I love the elves and the elven lords, so I have a special interest with them. So anything to make them aesthetically beautiful on the battlefield, I am all up for it. So um, first up here, I have these mounted units. These were actually from another board game called Rackham Confrontation, The Age of the Ragnarok. So this was another board game that actually also featured pre-painted units, and they would sell them in small boxes of units, whether it's infantry or cavalry. So obviously these are cavalry. These are actually the mounted Griffin Knights of Redemption. So um, naturally, I switched them over to the Knights Immortal Lancers mounted unit, especially the Heavy Lancers, one of my favorite Mage Knight units. And yes, I still do have the original ones, and I love them as well. But these are of a different flavor as well. So I have these Heavy Lancers, and I'll put them up close here a little bit so we can focus on them. So these are the Griffin Knights of Redemption. This is on a strong 3-star heavy lancer. So I just like has the shield, and you got the sword there as well, and the lance. You can see it's actually a little bit broken, so I had to kind of fix that as well. And here's another one of them. And if you guys are familiar, if you have an idea on the cape, the little flash of cape that I added there, that's actually from a Mage Knight figure. Okay, I've forgotten where it's from, but yeah, that's another cape from there. And I just wanted to add that another heavy lancer as well. All right, and the third one right here. Okay, this one had a broken shield, so I actually had to cut off. This is a base from the HeroClix um, Lord of the Rings, another from WizKids as well, and I still have to paint that, but that's another heavy lancer as well, 3 stars. And of course, you had to have a general, so this one I placed on the champion dial, and there you go. So that's the champion. So that would be nice to have in the battlefield for the Knights Immortal, like a specialized unit of sorts. And yeah, I gotta clear that epoxy that's whited out on the base, but I just love it. It's so there you go. You have those rebased Redemption Knights, Griffin Knights of Redemption on the Knights Immortal basis. Next up is one of my favorite as well. You'll notice I have actually some Games Workshop. All right, next up I have this Dwarven Steam Behemoth. Uh, and I just realized that the War Mumak of Harad from the Lord of the Rings would be a perfect stand-in on this uh, multi-dial base because it is a it is a war machine. It has range, as we know. There's range for that on the sides of the dial. This is how Mage Knight works for those that are not familiar with it. All the all the stats are in, and if you have range attacks, then it would be shown right there. If you see that that arrow with a 12, that's the range in inches that this figure can use in the battlefield. And these multi-dial figures, as it says, has four dials: front, two sides, and a rear. And you have different stats for that as well. So again, this was the Dwarven Steam Behemoth, and I placed the War Mumak of Harad right there, which is just perfect for it. Can imagine maybe some of the dwarves turned to Sauron and the Black Powder Rebels allied with them, and now they have a an Oliphant uh, Titan, right? I mean, multi-dial figure right there. Um, the Games Workshop Lord of the Rings figures are actually pretty small. They're like 28 millimeters. I'll show you a comparison right here. So that's a Night Stalker from the Unlimited Mage Knight, and that's your Lord of the Rings. It's like 28 millimeters. So sometimes I put them up there. Other times I just take them out, and to add flavor to the game is I actually put these again. What I usually do is that I try to find within Mage Knight figures that will fit into whatever universe that I'm trying to replicate. And so I realized that the Night Stalkers painted them brown, and I believe these are the weak ones. Yeah, these are the weak Night Stalkers. So stats are still pretty good, but uh, the the tough ones I use them mainly for the Necropolis sect, but painted them brown, and as you can see, they look like Haradrim. And then on top, I found uh, this Haradrim champion from the HeroClix Lord of the Rings, and so it just works out perfectly as well. So let me put that close here. Yeah, there you go. And I just have them on top right there of the War Mumak, and so these can still represent all the stats of the Dwarven Steam Behemoth with the range, and of course it has RAM, which is perfect because it's an Oliphant, it's a Mumak, so definitely it would have RAM. And you can already imagine, look at this right here. Is what I enjoy about rebasing all these things and then having to play Mage Knight rules with it is you have a War Mumak against these these knights, right? So it just adds flavor to the old school wargaming and still reviving the favorite game that we love, Mage Knight. All right. Next up here is I actually posted this in the Facebook Mage Knight group before when I made that scenario for Smaug in Lake Town, and this was my stand-in for Smaug. Of course, Smaug is a fire-breathing dragon, so naturally the multi-dial base for Mage Knight I would use would be the Great Fire Dragon, which actually is one of the better multi-dial figures. Had a lot of gameplay back in the day in tournaments because of Flame Lightning, because it's a fire breather. So this dragon is actually from the McFarlane Dragon series. This is from series one, so this is way way back in the early 2000s, and I love this sculpt. I believe this was the uh, I think this is the Eternal Clan Dragon. I'll have to I'll put it on the link sometime or the comments. But I like this as a stand-in for Smaug initially, because of the way he looked, and then he's holding a sort of a jewel there. It could actually be like the Arkenstone, so that works out pretty well. And although he is very different from the Smaug in the movies, because that had wyvern features, not it didn't have the four legs as this figure has, but this is just a beautiful figure as well, standing for Smaug. And I like the McFarlane line because of just their paint work and uh, the sculpts and everything. They're just absolutely beautiful. So I kind of like the older series though. Um, the new generation, I don't know, the dragons just seem a bit comical, but I want to close up his face right there. And yeah, I mean, if that doesn't look like Smaug to you, I don't know. But like I said, on the first video episode, I do have another stand-in for Smaug, much from the Joan of Arc series. So I can't wait to have that painted, probably in a similar paint scheme like this from the McFarlanes. But um, what I like with the multi-dial figures for Mage Knight is they have the different the point cost. So as you know, the Great Fire Dragon has a young, a mature, and an ancient point cost. Although I lost the sticker here, usually they have it on the base right here, so that you can build your army and know how much it costs, if it's a young dragon, if it's a mature dragon, or an ancient dragon. Of course, the higher the point cost, the more capable and the greater the abilities for that dragon. So if you noticed, what I did was, these are the soaring cups from Mage Knight 2.0. I placed them as center and drilled some holes so that I could put these right there, and to secure it. So the nice thing is that if I put this as, let's say this is a mature point cost for the Great Fire Dragon, then I can use this multi-dial base for another figure with another point cost. So I have, so we can take that off. So you see, it has that stand there, which I just place. I probably have to change that soaring dial. Maybe find a newer one, a clearer one. So if I possibly make another scenario, which I'll show up here for the next figure. This is a dragon from the Beowulf movie. And again, this is from the McFarlane as well. And as you can see, they have really very nice figures. This is the Beowulf McFarlane dragon. This is the animated one. Remember, with Angelina Jolie as Grendel's mother. So this I got this off Amazon, and I may use this at times just so I can have it really soar up high like that, and it's kind of like a display case as well. But I was thinking that I could just represent the multi-dial base with this one. This would still be the front, the rear, and then these would be the side sections, and then I wouldn't have to, take it off the battlefield. I can just use this and click the damage for it whenever I'm playing the old school Mage Knight game. So, but I'm also able to, if you notice, I have it has that stand there as well on the bottom. I can actually stick it right up there as well, just like what I did with the Eternal Clan Dragon. So, all right, I'm gonna put him back here on his base, but yeah, that's one way I've been able to manage, you know, having them on the multi-dial base and in gameplay. So yeah, it sticks pretty well there, and it's pretty stable as you can see. So those are those dragons so far, and the War Mumak, and then this one, another personal favorite of mine is this is the Radiant Light Dragon base. Um, no offense, but the uh, the original Mage Knight dragons, my least favorite was the Radiant Light one. Uh, Not just probably the stats, but just the way that that figure looks. So I found this stand-in once again. This is again from the McFarlane's Dragon series, and I forgot which dragon this is, but I'll put it on the notes here after this video is done. But I it just looked perfect for the for the dial, right? Because this dragon, the Radiant Light, it has defend and healing. So this dragon and again, this is from the series one McFarlane Dragon series, uh, with the white scaly skin, and just its paint scheme. It just it just told me that yeah, I'm the right Radiant Light Dragon for this one. So this one I actually really did uh, glue him to this base. This little wall that he's sitting on is from another miniature line. It's actually from from a military miniature line, and I just kind of used the terrain for it. So yeah, I still have to clear up some of the old epoxy there from the original Radiant Light. And again, I also have the original Mage Knight dragons for the pieces for it on the original base too. But this just adds a little flavor to it. So this will be the Radiant Light Dragon uh, for my battle. So um, all right, there you go. So uh, so you can see, I can see this dragon either going against these knights, or maybe actually, because it seems he's on the same scheme with them, then he could be part of the army. All right, Redemption Knights, immortal, backed up by the Radiant Light Dragon going against Smaug. Okay, or maybe the Beowulf Dragon, or maybe here have maybe I'll have an army of dwarves backed up by this War Mumak of Harad and go against these. So um, but yeah, that's what I do. And yeah, again, please do support this channel in any way or form. Like and subscribe, that would be great. Again, I'll be featuring this in some of in our youth group games. I'm trying to pass this game on to, first and foremost, my two boys, and my wife has played a bit, but although dungeons, and my youth group, and it's a lot of them that have kind of got into the game, especially 1.0. So I'll be featuring these in a little tournament here at home. This is just simple battle mat up here on the dining table, but we'll have a few more terrain, and we'll feature some epic battles here inspired from movies, from the original Mage Knight storyline, and from my personal favorite, The Lord of the Rings. So again, this is Haldir Ryan for Nisi King's Army Wargaming Mage Knight Revival. I do not own the copyright. It is still WizKids, but there's a lot of us that love this game all across the world. Shout out to the Philippines players as well in Manila and Cebu. Manila is still very active, and all across the United States and all around the world. So, yeah, comment here and shout out to everyone. Um, I actually got a bunch of figures from one of the members at Mage Night Facebook group. So thank you very much, brothers in arms. Again, this is Haldi Ryan. So please continue to like and subscribe this channel, and we'll have more content for you guys here. Thank you very much. God bless.